Hey everyone, today we are playing some mono green Stompy. The goal of the deck is to play some absolute behemoths such as Workshop Warchief and Titan of Industry as fast as possible. The way we do this is through ramp spells such as Llanowar Loamspeaker, Reclusive Taxidermist and Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea. Now this is mono green, there are absolutely no non-green cards whatsoever, nothing that could help us, say, duplicate our big threats or help with card draw or help with ramp or anything like that. No, absolutely not. Anyway, that's the deck. Let's get into the games. Alright, going first. Looks like we've got quite a strong hand, so we'll keep it. We have a good turn 2 play with the Reclusive Taxidermist. A good turn 3 play with the Augur. And then we can play Workshop Warchief the following turn. Even if my opponent does choose to kill the Taxidermist, which they don't, we should be okay. I'm going to play the Fable here. Next turn, I should have access to 5 mana, barring any disasters, so I'll play out the Workshop Warchief. Mechanized Warfare, that's okay. Golden can't block. I go down to 11. I can't really afford to do that. So they'll get a second Felden that they'll get to play. Discard 2 cards? Yeah, I'm going to discard the Llanowar Loamspeaker and the Forest. I should have enough at this stage. Cool. Play out the Workshop Warchief, gain some life. Next turn, I can play the Augur of Autumn and start casting cards from the top of my deck. We'll see what they want to do here. There's a Felden, so we'll take 5 and go to 12. Less than that, actually. There's a Hammer Hand. Nothing can block. Okay. Once again, we're deciding that I'm not allowed to play Magic, but that's okay. There's another land. Make another. I'm gaining 5 life a turn. See what we can do here. Hopefully put our opponent on a very short clock. Back up Mechanized Warfare. 3, 4, I could end up dying here. That's 2, they just need to find a burn spell, 2 mountains. Can I cast this Titan? I can. I'm going to discard the Karplusan Forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. 1, 6, 1, 10, 12, 13. I am 2 damage short. If I go up to 7, I can use a timeout here. So I go up to 7 with Workshop Warchief. I also go up to 7 by activating the Titan of Industry. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to gain 5 life and destroy a target artifact or enchantment. I'm going to destroy the Mechanized Warfare. Yeah, I'm going to destroy the Mechanized Warfare. And I'll target myself. Cool, I will attack for... I'll attack for 5. Because I need Titan of Industry to block a reach thing. Okay, there's Monastery Swift Spear. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Okay. Oh, that was close. That was very close. Alright, looking at our hand, we have plenty of ramp, so we're going to keep this. Kind of going under the impression that anything we tried to play will inevitably be countered or destroyed, so if we can have multiple ramp spells, that would be great. We'll start with the Llanowar Loamspeaker. It has 1 extra toughness, so I'm going to go with that. Spyro's Headquarters on turn 1 tells me we could be playing anything. We could be playing ramp, for example. not the best start. We do have access to a turn 3 Silverback Elder, if that's what we want to do, through Gwenna, Eyes of Gaea, or we could play the Fable of the Mirror Breaker and help us with our card quality. So I'm going to do that. Also going to make us a 2/2 Shaman. Next turn, we have access to a few things. If we think our opponent's playing Control, looks like they are playing Ramp, could hit us with Depopulate next turn. We do need to be a bit careful. I would love to draw a land. I can definitely sack off this Gwenna and Cemetery Prowler. We have Silverback Elder in our hand as a big threat. Okay, looks like we are good. I'm going to discard this Gwenna, and I might discard... No, I'm not going to discard the Cemetery Prowler, actually. Just the Gwenna. Alright, cool. I'm going to go into attacks here and attack for 2. Nothing our opponent's doing, so I'm just going to play the Silverback Elder now. And now I can start completely taking control of this game, assuming they can't do something like Depopulate. That's fine by me. Another joint exploration. Opponent's really in a bit of trouble here. Okay, so we've got Bushwhack. I'm going to go to combat and attack for 3. I'm going to play out this Cemetery Prowler as well. And exile Gwenna. And then we'll end the turn. If my opponent does try and play something, we still have ways of coming back into the game, like Gwenna, like Cemetery Prowler, so it's not the end of the world. There's a Titan of Industry, so I'm just going to play this Gwenna. We still have ways of coming back into the game. There's another Fable. Can't use Gwenna to activate it, but nonetheless, I will play the Reclusive Taxidermist and the Cemetery Prowler. Remember, we can make 2 mana. So we're going to play the Cemetery Prowler as well. That one they counter. Okay. That's their first Dissipate, which means if we draw a land next turn, we'll be okay, but there's Wandering Emperor. Interesting. They should be exiling Gwenna. If they don't, they might have another Wandering Emperor. No blocks. Alright. So in that case, I'm just going to play this Titan of Industry. My opponent can either counter it or they can't. Alright, we will put a shield counter on... probably on Gwenna. And we can also create a 4/4. Actually, we'll put the shield counter on Titan. But we don't have to put the shield counter on until they... So, because we know they play Fateful Absence, they have to choose who they're targeting. So, I'm going to put it on the Titan. I could choose to attack Wandering Emperor here. I think I will. And we'll force this Samurai token to block. A second Farewell would just be devastating, but there's nothing we can do. Two Farewells. That's usually both of them as well. Alright, we'll play the Bushwhack, find ourselves a forest, and pass the turn. Whenever opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell. Okay.
Remember your training.
I'm going to discard the Taxidermist at this point. I'll play the Workshop Warchief. But it's not looking good. Two Farewells is just ridiculously lucky. Yeah, at this stage I'm happy just blocking here. Going to 14. So here's another Fable. What are they going to do? Make disappear it? Unlikely. And I will not attack and pass turn. They get to double Fateful Absence. Which is super unfortunate. Yeah, we'll end the turn. It's okay. Not every control deck is going to get both their farewells. Alright, opponent's going first. We don't have the best hand in the world, but we're going to keep it. It's not the most explosive. No turn 2 play. No turn 1 play ever with this deck, so it does mean we can play Rockfall Vale on turn 1. So Reclusive Taxidermist comes in. This is why I play Reclusive Taxidermist, is because it can make us mana. There's a Graveyard Trespasser. As I said, it can make us mana, and having 8 mana dorks is always good in the ramp deck. If I play the Gwenna and they can't answer anything, I can get a turn 4 Titan of Industry off. It never happens. It never happens. But if they get Shieldred, it's happening. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, it actually happened. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, put a shield counter on something you control, get rid of this. And then I can also play Llanowar Loamspeaker. It's Rakdos, right? So chances are they're not doing anything. I could kill the Graveyard Trespasser now. It's a 3-4. I think I do go to combat here. Perfect. Soul Transfer. Oh, that's a one-of. It's always a one-of. I'll play Llanowar Loamspeaker here. Also play Fable. And we'll pass the turn. Interesting. Opponents! It's not looking good. Didn't find what they were looking for. I can get rid of this Augur and this Fable. And if I draw... Gwenna's not really doing much at this point. And if I draw a land, we can cast this Titan again. Don't get there. Nonetheless, I have access to 6 mana. So I'm going to play this Fable. Play this Cemetery Prowler. We'll stick the Graveyard Trespasser underneath. Depopulate would be unfortunate. Invoke Despair. Okay. I will get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah, I'll get rid of the token. I'll get rid of the weaker Fable, or the more incomplete Fable. So I can actually cast this Titan of Industry. So I'm going to go to attacks. I'll exile this. I have a sorcery, so I'll exile Invoke Despair. I'll then play the Titan. I will destroy the Reckoner Bankbuster and put a shield counter on Titan of Industry. There's another Reckoner Bankbuster, okay. Backup Soul Transfer just in case, yeah? Just in case. We'll play the Workshop Warchief. We'll create a copy of it. Yeah. Writing's on the wall. Writing's on the wall. Even though my opponent had 2 soul transfers for that. For my 2 Titan of Industries. You're not getting past that one. Okay, opponent's going first. We have access to turn 4 Defiler of Vigor, which is nice. And there's Titan of Industry. Like, again, turn 4 Titan is on the cards. It's probably not going to happen. It's there. Looks like we might be up against Azorius control. Typically, if I see Skybridge Towers, that's what I'm leaning towards. No! It's Discount Soldiers. Okay. Root of Cathar. If you're reading it, that's usually what it means. Cassia's welcome. Cool. We have Bushwhack, so I'm going to play Eyes of Gwenna. And pass the turn. Cassia's welcome. God, turn 4 Titan, 2 games in a row would be insane. Siege Veteran, okay. Down to 13. Alright, there's Fable, but Titan is definitely the play. I can gain 5 life and destroy target artifact or enchantment, right? Or do I create the Rhino? I'm on 13. I think I do create the Rhino, you know, so I'm doing quite well. There we go. I'm going to choose not to attack here because we are very much not the aggressor. Even I can see that. There's another Siege Veteran. Okay. Everything's going on Harbin, I reckon. Alright, cool. In that case, I am just going to Bushwhack now. I control this. I don't control this. See what they want to do. Perfect. We'll play Defiler of Vigor. Can I play another one? I can. Nice. Cool. Attack with everything. 6, 14, 19 damage. Opponent's having to think here. Yeah, no worries. I thought about this. Because they have no way of giving Harbin haste, and to my knowledge, they don't have anyone... They have no way of something having haste unless it's an Unearthed Ocean frontliner. We should be good. And yeah, opponent figures it out. Another win! Down with Azorius soldiers! Ooh. Alright, opponent's going first. We have access to a turn 2 Reclusive Taxidermist into turn 3 Fable, into turn 4 Workshop Warchief or Silverback Elder. Typically, I prefer playing Silverback Elder because it's a bit more resilient and it combos really nicely with the Workshop Warchief coming down the following turn. There's Takenuma. I'll play the Forest without giving anything away. Opponent might be on that Golgari graveyard deck. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me to see the Reclusive Taxidermist get killed here. Should get killed. Does not get killed. Yeah. Takenuma, Boseiju, Mountain. This could be that Jund Reanimator deck, although Blood Tithe Harvester is not what I was expecting. Do I play the Gwenna and tempt them? If I play the Gwenna, I can force them to sack the Blood Tithe Harvester, and if they don't kill Gwenna, yeah, I think that's right. We're going to play Gwenna, force them to deal with it, and if they can't deal with it, we can start being super threatening. We've got Silverback Elder, we've got Workshop Warchief. There's also the argument here that you play Fable and you hope it gets through all 3 chapters. That tells me they should have a removal spell for this Gwenna. They do. Nice cut down. So I'm going to play Fable here, to the surprise of no one. They might have to sack this blood token. Yeah, they're looking for a land. Is that Tear Asunder? Excellent. Okay, cool. We'll play the Rockfall Vale. Next turn, we can discard the... We're not going to discard anything, actually. It's tempting to discard the Workshop Warchief or the Titan of Industry. Upgrade. Okay. I am going to discard this mountain. It's doing nothing for me. I'm going to play the Silverback Elder. Might want to start playing real Magic cards soon. I mean, removal deck is cute and all, but at some point my opponent might want to start playing real cards. Graveyard Trespasser, okay. Ouch. Cool, so with this, I can play the Karplusan. I'm going to play Workshop Warchief. I'm going to gain some life here. I can destroy a target artifact or enchantment, look at the top 5 cards, or gain 4 life. I am going to look at the top 4 cards. Forest, perfect. I now have access to Titan of Industry next turn. I'm going to attack for 5. I did consider not putting Silverback Elder in my deck, and then I realized my deck is nothing but amazing creatures, and I will often rush out a Silverback Elder, and if I'm rushing out a Silverback Elder, then I'm going to be able to take full advantage of an awful lot. Opponent's going to continue trying to take things out. Down to 18. Going to play this Titan of Industry. I'm going to look at top 5 cards again. Yeah, and I can copy the Titan of Industry with Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, and I do dirty, dirty, dirty things. Dirty things. Going first, we have a pretty nice hand here. Even if we don't draw a big threat, I do like the fact that, you know, Cemetery Prowler's a 3-4, Gwenna's a 2-3. We have plenty of turns to find ourselves a threat. Let's see what we can do here. Looks like we are up against mono blue tempo. There's a Titan of Industry. I'm going to attack for 1 and play the Gwenna. This shouldn't survive. It doesn't. They thought about it, though. They had to think. Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to play out the Cemetery Prowler. Impulse, trying to desperately find something. I don't think this deck is great against mono blue tempo. And the reason being is that mono blue tempo, like, plays a lot of counter spells, obviously, but also plays nothing but Fading Hope. Alright. Let's see what we can do. So I'm guessing opponent didn't have a counterspell or Fading Hope or anything like that. I would have gained 5 life, would have made a 4-4 Rhino. Shield counters aren't really doing anything for me. Yeah. Oh boy, this is going so much better than expected. So much better. So that's the deck. I ended up going 5-1 in this session, slightly shorter session today, because I've got real life things in my near future. So let's have a quick look at the deck. You'll notice straight away we run 2 copies of Bushwhack, good for finding a basic land, finding mana fixing. That's why we also run 1 mountain. If we need to find a single red source to play our Fable. Yes, it's not quite mono green, but Fable is amazing, which you would have seen today. 4 copies of Llanowar Loamspeaker, 4 copies of Reclusive Taxidermist. In a ramp deck, in a creature-based ramp deck like this, you want to play 8 mana dorks. The fact that there isn't a turn 1 mana dork is kind of sad, and there is a lot of removal in this format, so you need to be playing at least 8. We actually play way more than 8. We also play 4 Gwenna, which you would have seen untapped quite a lot because we play a lot of 5 power or more creatures. We'll get to those very shortly. We also play 4 copies of Cemetery Prowler. This is also another mana dork. We can exile creature cards mainly, usually our own, simply because we often find ourselves having our mana dorks removed or countered. There's a lot of that going on in the format right now. So I think the 4 Cemetery Prowlers are still good, and it's a 3 mana 3/4 with Vigilance. It's an excellent card for this deck specifically, I find. We also play 2 Augur of Autumn, which is really good at finding our way out of Mana Flood. And on top of that, we play cards with lots of different powers. We've got 1 power here, Augur 2, Gwenna 2, Cemetery Prowler 3, Defiler 6, 5 with Silverback Elder and Workshop Warchief, 7 with Titan of Industry, Rhinos a 4/4, so hitting Coven is not a problem. And then the big boys, 4 Defiler of Vigor. We didn't see Defiler of Vigor much except in that Azorius Soldiers game. However, when we did see the Defiler of Vigor, it was just too much for our opponent to handle. Putting a +1/+1 counter on everything is pretty great. Workshop Warchief, Titan of Industry and Silverback Elder are our big guys. I'd like running a combined 12 altogether, and with Defiler definitely being a 4 of, I go for this 3-3-2 split. I know Silverback Elder is probably the one people are most interested in. You can definitely see the value of these because of the ETB, and the Silverback Elder can take a bit to get going because it's whenever you cast a creature spell. However, there are a lot of artifacts in this format. There are a lot of enchantments in this format, and being able to destroy them, always a big plus. Going through our library to find mana, to be able to cast Titan of Industry, and it thins the deck a bit as well. Workshop Warchief goes without saying. Now, the only non-green card in the mono-green Stompy deck is for Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and honestly, if you're not playing this in a ramp deck, you are making a huge mistake. When you're running so many big threats, this is actually the card that for me puts the deck over the top. The number of times opponents will concede when you've got Fable plus a big dude that they now know, that we now know they can't do anything about, is just, it's gorgeous. The deck does really well. 24 lands might look a bit sus. However, I think that's about right. Just because of the sheer number of ways we have of reducing mana cost, I didn't really find myself at any point really feeling mana screwed or anything like that. So yeah, it's good. This deck will get you plenty of wins, plenty of quick wins as well. 2 minutes, 3 minutes definitely happened today. And thanks to all the life gain, we even beat Monored, which always, beating Monored always feels good. Always feels good. Any further suggestions I would make to the deck? Yeah, Halana and Elena. Now, I know that's more red cards and you'd have to probably put in a couple more mountains to appease the increased mana cost. However, if I just bring up Halana and Elena, the great thing about them is that they can give a creature haste. So if you play Halana and Elena on turn 3, for example, the client's frozen, not me. If you play Halana and Elena on turn 3, thanks to a mana dork we've got, you can give a lot of things haste. So, and give it +1/+1 counters as well. Consider it. We don't have many turn 4 plays. If you look, we've got 4 mana plays. Sorry, we've got 2 mana, 3 mana, but there's a gap here for 5 mana. So we don't have many good many optimal perhaps turn 3 plays. So bear that in mind. Another one you might also want to consider is Overworld Oddity. That's the one. 4 mana, 4/4, trample and haste. And you can transform it for 7 mana, and as you can see, we run a lot of mana. And because of the way Gwenna's worded, you can actually activate abilities of a creature or creature card, and so that includes the Overworld Oddity's transform ability. And you know, Overwhelmed Behemoth is basically Creator Hoof Behemoth, a slightly weaker version, but giving everything else +1/+1 and Trample and Haste is not to be sniffed at. The problem is that it then becomes, well, what do you cut for if you're going to make these changes? And maybe Cemetery Prowler can go, maybe Augur of Autumn can go. These are things that maybe you can replace with, I don't know, 3-4 Overwhelmed Oddity and 2 Halana and Elena, for example. But then you do run the risk of then thinking about, oh, do I have to run a 25th land? Because that does bump up the mana values, the average mana value slightly. Right now it's 3.5. If I was to make those changes, if I go back 1, 2, 3, 4, take these out and add Halana and Elena, suddenly it's 3.7. And 3.5 to 3.7 might not feel much, but that's quite a lot. So at that point, it's like, oh, do I run 25th land and run 61 cards? If not, what do I take out? Do I only go down to 1 Halana and Elena? Do I go down to 1 Silverback Elder? Is it 3 Defiler of Vigors? Like, these are all things to consider, but if I was to make changes, that's what I would probably do as a version 1.1 of the deck. But let me know what changes you would make. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, perhaps you'd like this video of me playing 5-color Domain. It was one hell of a ride, I'll tell you that. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye bye!